This is a story about my mom's death last month. I call it a great plenty. The care center where my mom lives in St. Paul was in quarantine the week she died. My brother Rob, who lives nearby, had called to explain to Mom about the coronavirus and why he couldn't come inside and how he didn't know when the quarantine would end. When I called from Chicago the next day, Mom didn't remember about the virus or that the cafeteria was closed or even where she was. "Everything is fine," she said, sounding weak. "Though I think I'm just about done with this job." She lived in the fog of dementia, but it often thinned, letting more light through. "I just don't seem to get much done anymore," she continued. "You're 95, I said. "You don't have to get much done." She chuckled at that. Then I asked what they had for dinner. She couldn't remember. "Oh, nothing fancy," she said finally. "But it was a great plenty." A great plenty, the phrase which Mom often used, stuck in my head and still does now a month after her death. For her it meant there is always enough, though she used it when it seemed there wasn't. "We'll make do," she'd always say. Like thousands of other elders who are now isolated from their children and grandchildren due to the coronavirus, Mom lived through the Depression and Dust Bowl and stock market crash and World War II and other times when having enough was both gift and goal, a cause for gratitude. We're living through such a time now, a time of fear and scarcity, but also of great compassion. Compassion, compassion, to suffer with is what that word means. It's the quality I most admired in my mom. She knew it was what enabled the possibility of a great plenty for everyone, no matter the zip code. And that's the world she lived toward, in small ways, in a small Iowa town, but with great love. She died the day after my phone call in the arms of her nurse, Gail. When my brothers later arrived, who live in St. Paul, Gail's cheeks were streaked with tears, and she was still holding Mom. I later called to thank Gail for being there at such a sacred time when we could not. "It was a blessing to be with Dee," she said. Dee was my mom. Every day, Gail and her colleagues risked their own lives to care for the most vulnerable, like my mom. Compassion. Though my brothers and I have Zoomed several times since Mom died, it has been confusing to grieve alone, and we're still trying to figure out what to do about the funeral. But sorting through old memories and photos has been a comfort. As I write, I'm looking at a photo of my mom swimming, which she loved to do. In the image, she is 75 years young and swimming out of the sun into shadow, moving from light into darkness. She looks at home in the water. You can see it in her eyes. And the longer I look, the more I realize that she is not just swimming out of the light, but carrying it with her wherever she goes. So there is always a great plenty.